Growing up in one of the world's most famous families, Barron Trump faced pressures few his age could comprehend. Surrounded by love yet under the relentless scrutiny of the public eye, he struggled to navigate his identity and uncover his true worth. This is a story of a young boy searching for peace and self-value, where his mother, Melania Trump, became a guiding light. But what challenges did Barron truly face, and how did he find his way through the storm? Stay with us as we unravel the untold journey of Barron Trump. Hollywood. A sparkling name, full of allure, evoking dreams and aspirations. At the age of 14, Barron Trump unexpectedly received an invitation from a renowned director who was searching for the protagonist of his new film, a story about a teenager growing up under the pressure of family fame. At an event, Barron's rare maturity caught the attention of the celebrated director. He believed the boy was the perfect fit for the lead character in his new film, centered around the life of a teenager coming of age amidst the weight of his family's reputation. Barron held the invitation letter in his hands, his heart torn between curiosity and anxiety. That evening, as the room lights still glowed, Melania walked in carrying a cup of warm milk. "Mom, do they really think I can do this?" Barron asked, his head bowed, clutching the letter tightly. "But what if I fail? What if they laugh at me, Mom?" Melania sat beside her son, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder, her eyes filled with empathy. "Barron, what matters most isn't what they say, but how you feel. If you want to try, I'll be here, right by your side. But if you're not ready, that's okay too." Barron lowered his gaze, his expression conflicted. "But Mom, if I don't do well, they'll say I only got this because of Dad. I don't want people to think that." Melania smiled, taking his hand in hers. "You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to stay true to what brings you peace. We can't please everyone, Barron, but we can find contentment within ourselves." For countless nights, Barron wrestled with his emotions. He wrote down his hopes and fears, only to tear the paper to shreds. Sometimes he gazed out the window, imagining the dazzling lights of a film set, while simultaneously feeling the immense pressure. Finally, one morning, Barron picked up a pen and wrote a heartfelt letter. "Dear Sir, thank you for granting me this extraordinary opportunity. While I am deeply honored, I feel that I am not yet ready. I hope to explore this chance in the future when I feel more confident. Sincerely, Barron." Melania read the letter, her eyes brimming with pride. She placed a hand on her son's shoulder and softly said, "I'm proud of you, Barron. This isn't a failure. This is you protecting yourself and listening to your heart." When Barron sent the letter, he felt as though a tremendous weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Yet, a lingering sense of regret still crept into his heart, like a discordant melody. Sensing her son's mood, Melania gently said, "You know, Barron, opportunities will always come in life. The important thing is knowing when to move forward and when to pause. Saying no doesn't make you weaker, it helps you understand yourself better." Those words felt like a soothing breeze, helping Barron find peace. He realized that not every door needs to be opened, and that turning down an opportunity wasn't an end, but a pause, a moment to prepare for something better. This story wasn't about a missed role, but about Barron's first life lesson. Sometimes true strength lies not in seizing every opportunity, but in knowing when to decline, to protect one's peace and discover one's path. Before we dive into another untold story of Barron Trump, let us know in the comments below which city or country you're tuning in from. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because tomorrow we'll bring you more inspiring stories made just for you. Now, let's continue with Barron's journey. At the age of 13, Barron Trump went through a challenging phase that few could truly understand. As the youngest child in a globally renowned family, he had no choice but to live under the constant scrutiny of the public eye. Malicious comments on social media, baseless gossip articles, and even the stares of strangers whenever he appeared in public had all become a growing burden. Barron felt as though every step he took was being watched, every minor misstep magnified. He began to withdraw, The carefree laughter with friends faded, replaced by silence, long hours spent alone in his room, his gaze distant as though searching for a way out of an invisible cage that imprisoned his spirit. "Whenever I step outside, I feel like thousands of eyes are on me," Barron confessed, his voice trembling. "Even when I do nothing, they still find ways to criticize. I just want to disappear from it all." Melania Trump, always attuned to even the smallest changes in her son, recognized that Barron's silence wasn't merely a sign of maturity, it was a silent cry for help. She knew he was battling emotions he couldn't express, and she couldn't stand by idly. Melania decided to put aside all her responsibilities and dedicate herself fully to her son. Every evening, she would step into Barron's room with a cup of hot chocolate, sitting beside him. "Barron, I see that you're carrying a lot," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. "You don't have to bear all this alone," Melania added, placing her hand over his as if to share her strength with him. "I'll always be here, whenever you need me. We'll get through this together, you are never alone." Those simple words felt like a beam of light piercing through the darkness that had enveloped Barron's mind. He looked at his mother, his eyes glistening with tears, but for the first time in weeks, he felt like he wasn't alone anymore. According to experts' suggestions, Melania introduced Barron to art therapy, a method where he could freely express his emotions through colors and images without the need for words. At first, Barron hesitated, doubting that scribbles could help him escape the chaos in his mind. But little by little, he began to find comfort in each stroke. The first paintings were composed of dark shades, grey, black, deep blue, blended with chaotic lines. But Melania did not judge. She sat beside him, quietly observing and occasionally asking softly, "How do you feel while drawing this?" One evening after weeks of therapy, Barron brought his mother a new painting. It depicted a small boy standing under a dark, ominous sky, but in the distance, faint rays of sunlight began to emerge. "What do you think?" he asked hesitantly. Melania looked at the painting, then at her son. She said nothing, gently placed a hand on his shoulder, and smiled. "I see a strong boy, Barron, a boy who doesn't give up, even when everything around him seems so dark. And I'm proud of you." Her words were not just encouragement, they were a reassurance that Barron was not fighting alone. He continued to paint, and each artwork became a story of his emotional journey, from the dark days to glimpses of hope. One day, Melania hung one of Barron's paintings in the family's living room. It was an image of an ancient tree standing firm amidst a storm, its wide branches sheltering a small bird. "This painting reminds me that no matter how difficult things get, you are always strong, Barron, and you always have your family here to protect you." Barron's story is not about a perfect boy or a flawless family, but rather the journey of a young soul learning to face the enormous pressures of the outside world. Throughout this journey, Melania's love and companionship served as the guiding lighthouse that helped Barron weather the storm. Barron did not need to prove anything to the world. He learned to find strength within himself and realized that sometimes the most important thing is not to please everyone but to learn to love oneself. Melania was not just a mother, she was a steadfast anchor and silent companion in Barron's journey of growth. To her, her son's value did not lie in the judgments of the outside world but in his ability to live true to himself. "Barron, you don't have to prove anything to anyone," she would often say, her voice gentle yet resolute. "What matters most isn't praise or admiring glances. What's important is that you understand who you are and find happiness on the path you choose." Those words were not mere fleeting advice, but a guiding light that reminded Barron every time he faced pressure or scrutiny. It was Melania's way of affirming that in a world full of judgments, her son always had the right to define his own worth. Under his mother's guidance and love, Barron learned how to find strength within. Two pivotal moments, an invitation to act in a film and his journey through overcoming psychological challenges, became milestones that not only marked Barron's growth, but also reaffirmed Melania's irreplaceable role in his life. This story is not about fame or glamour, but about family love, inner strength, and overcoming hardships to find true peace. It is not just Barron's story, but a message to anyone searching for their worth in a world filled with pressure. If this story resonates with you, please click like and share. We value your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for accompanying us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next story.